Finally, on the town hall tonight, we're talking with a local expert about aphasia. The illness made headlines earlier in the week when actor Bruce Willis announced that he was stepping away from acting because of it. The cognitive disorder impacts a person's ability to communicate and often develops with people who have suffered a stroke, but it's not the only cause. And joining me now is Dr. Deborah Insalaco from Buffalo State College. She holds a Ph.D. in speech and hearing sciences and disorders and is the president of the Speech Language Hearing Association of Western New York. We're so glad to have you with us tonight because we've gotten a lot of questions about this. And the one thing, doctor, that viewers want to know is what is aphasia and what causes it?
Yes. Well, aphasia is a loss of language. It means just that we've lost that ability to use language. Everybody is familiar, I think, with the tip of the tongue phenomenon. You know, you're trying to remember a name, you know it begins with R, maybe it's Rick, maybe it's Richard, maybe it's Robin, but you just can't pull it out. Now imagine having that problem every single time that you're trying to say something. So it's a real challenge for people. There are two types that exist, and I think it's important to make this distinction. Most of the time it occurs because of a stroke, and we have about 1 million people in this country who have had strokes and have aphasia, or have aphasia as a result of a brain injury, for instance, a car crash. But there is another type which is quite rare. Both of them are caused by a death of nerve cells in the brain, in the language areas of the brain, but one type is this primary progressive aphasia, which is the rare version. It starts very slowly, very insidiously, and the person just starts noticing, and other people start noticing, that word finding is becoming much more difficult. This type of aphasia is associated with frontotemporal dementia. That is the type, that is dementia. But unlike Alzheimer's, which is another type of dementia, frontotemporal dementias are very rare, and that means primary progressive aphasia is really very rare. Maybe 2 people in 100,000. In my work, I've worked with maybe a handful of clients who have had primary progressive aphasia.
It's good to hear that distinction between dementia and Alzheimer's, because we've had viewers very curious about that, of sort of what the differences are there and how it's involved. And people are also wondering how it's detected, because naturally when something like this is in the news, people learn more about it, they start looking into it. What's kind of important for people to know if there's any armchair doctors out there who are sort of looking into it for themselves?
Well, I would suggest that you talk to your physician if you suspect that you have this problem. If you do have a stroke, I mean, or a brain injury because of a car crash, for instance, or something else, you know when that happened and how it happened, and you're being treated in a hospital. If you think you have this other rare type, then speaking first to your primary care physician is very important, and then being assessed perhaps with MRIs, neuropsychological assessments, speech-language pathology assessments, to see how things are going and whether indeed you do have this very rare type of aphasia.
It is something that is so layered, and we so appreciate having the opportunity to learn more about it. We have to leave it there for now. But again, we've been speaking with Dr. Deborah Insalaco from Buffalo State College today on the Town Hall. Doctor, thanks again for joining us tonight.
Most welcome.